Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, and in this particular video, I want to talk about leaving a six-figure income to pursue a PhD in business administration. So, if you don't know, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity thing to give back as much as I possibly can because there's so many people that helped me out to get a PhD and to become a professor. So I thought it would be really cool to give back to other people and just put it out there and see what happens, right? So I created this sort of sharing economy proofreading platform, and then to get the word out, I'm helping out PhD students or potential graduate students sort of think about what it's like to go into a graduate program, because I think that's the people that would find this most useful. And that's what I was thinking about when I actually created the whole reciprocity platform. All right, so do people actually leave a six-figure income to do a PhD in business administration? Absolutely, they do. Every year, in most programs, in most PhD programs, there is going to be at least one or two people that have left a six-figure income, and sometimes like a very, very high incomes. $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 in terms of their income. They've left it to pursue a PhD. I have, friends that were on Wall Street and doing all that kind of stuff, and they decided to not do that kind of stuff. But then there's kind of like two people that pursue a PhD in business administration. The first of and this was me, is you kind of go all the way through because this is what you wanted to do, right? So you're I started when I was 25, so I had a little bit of work experience, but not a lot. And then there's other people that start after they do an MBA when they're 30-something, right? So they're maybe 33, 34, and they have a successful career, and they decide to go back and do a PhD after that because they fall in love with it, right? So I would say probably about a quarter to a half the people in business school programs and PhD programs had very good income when they left. And then the other people that were sort of gone all the way through, they could have had a degree, a very high paying job. So I was an engineer, trained as an engineer, and I chose to do a PhD. So automatically when I could have done, because I had a master's degree in engineering and management science, I could have had a pretty good income years ago, and this was years ago. So pretty close to six figures just from that alone. So yeah, I mean, do leave six-figure incomes on a regular basis to pursue a PhD in business administration. It's not strange. So why do people do this? What is actually going on behind the scenes? So you have to think about there's something that's hidden in plain sight here, right? So you see a lot of people choosing this particular career, and it seems strange why they're doing that, but you have to sort of think about the sort of benefits that they're actually getting that they're trading off, right? So a business school professor is going to do okay, very reasonable, very good salary, but it's not going to be nearly what they can make in industry, right? Or a lot of them leave these very high-paying jobs to go do something like that. It's not unusual in any sort of mean. There is at Harvard, and I'm blanking on his name. He used to be the CEO of Medtronic. So Medtronic is the largest medical device company in the world, and now he is currently an adjunct or teaching faculty at Harvard. It'll come back to me, but anyways, so yeah, very high-paying, multi-million-dollar jobs that they're per year that they're doing to go work and do this sort of thing that we're doing. So what's going on? First of all, the benefit that you're not seeing is that they get a tremendous amount of autonomy, and then you also have this push for creativity, right? So autonomy meaning that you can do largely a lot of what you want to do, right? You don't necessarily have to do a lot of things because somebody told you to. You do it because you want to do it, and there's a difference there. And then the other thing was sort of the creativity aspect. It is actually frowned upon by a lot of people to do things that are not creative. So if you're doing something that's derivative, then it's not going to look nearly as positive to the sort of greater academy than if you did something that was very original and nobody else has done. So there's this real push towards creativity. And if you think about the sort of the creation of knowledge, that makes sense, right? Like you want to create new and different things that people are looking at in a different way, right? Because you're opening up people's sort of perspective, right? You're enriching their insights, and that's your job, is to enrich people and the sort of the way that they view the world, right? So that is really fun and really cool to be able to do that. The second thing that I think is really important that people miss is that there is what I call the hunt or the build. There's sort of two aspects of it. So the hunt is hunting for the new idea that you think is going to be very rewarding or something that's going to be new. And it takes a long time to develop that new idea. So you're constantly on the hunt. But then there's also the build. The build is where you're kind of building yourself up. And it never necessarily ends at all. So you might think, oh, you just get a PhD and it ends. No, that's not what happens. You're constantly building up. And in fact, people that are like 85 years old are still building up their skill set and still building what they are about, and they're enjoying it, right? Like it's very much this incremental, almost like a meritocracy, where you're actually the thing that you put in and you sort of develop the rewards that you get from that, right? There's another aspect, and I think this is the third thing that's fun that a lot of people sort of forget about, that's really nice. And it's almost like sort of what it was like in sort of Greek times, right? With Aristotle and all those folks. I hope I got the right sort of analogy right there. But anyways, so you're paid to just be able to think and to do things, you're just thinking, right? Which is really fun that not a lot of people have to do, because a lot of people have to do more action than thinking. There's some careers where you could do this, maybe in like you're writing blogs or something like that you're just thinking, or a reporter. But in this atmosphere, you're really rewarded to think about new ideas and to do different things, which is really fun to have that sort of flexibility that a lot of people have. So lower down on the list, so those are sort of rank ordered at this moment, from most important to least important, I think. The fourth thing, and this is sometimes when people make a family transition, so they go to having kids or something like that, they think about the trade-off that they're making, that they can actually drop off kids, and you can. So the running joke is you can get all the time flexibility you want in this career as long as you're willing to work 65 hours a week. And really, that's truly what it is, right? You're constantly kind of working all the time, depending on whatever thing that you're working on. There's something that's always going on, and you're kind of filling in spots. Gives you a little bit more flexibility to go pick up your kids and stuff like that, and that matters a lot for a lot of people to be part of their kids' life, right? To go to their swim practices or something like that. And the fifth thing, I think, and this is really mild, but some people get a lot out of this. When you're maybe when I was 25, I would have thought about this a little bit more, but you do get an increase in status, sort of social economic status, from just getting that PhD, because not a lot of people have that, and it is still pretty respected in society, right? So you do get a status increase, and whatever that is. Sometimes people refer to your judgment because you have that, sometimes not. And so you have this, definitely an increase in status, and depending on who you are and what family background you come from, or maybe it's a different country or something like that, sometimes that is really, really rewarded. And one thing with that sort of increase in status that's really quite nice is you can move from country to country a little bit more, because even the countries recognize that in terms of their immigration policy. So I'm Canadian, and I moved to the US, and that was a lot easier because I actually do have a PhD in business administration. It would have been a lot harder without that. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully you appreciate this video. Give me a thumbs up if you do, and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care. Bye.